Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers, in this video, we'll be learning about numbers and countable nouns, that is, adad wal ma'dud. This topic is going to entail on how to understand the explanation behind how counting is done in Arabic, especially in the basic form. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. So to start with, countable noun in Arabic is done by considering the number itself and the countable noun that is attached to it. To do that, the following step should be established. One is that if the number is 1 and the countable noun is also 1 or is an object, then the countable noun precedes the numbers and it is expressed in gender for gender form. An example is hirrun wahidun, one cat, or hirratun wahidatun, one cat. But when they are preceded by preposition or are in the case of being in an object form, the vowel sound also changes in this case. An example is using the preposition which is ala or fawqa. So we then have ala hirrin wahidin, on one cat, or fawqa hirrin wahidin, or in the other gender case, female, feminine, we have ala hirratin wahidatin or fawqa hirratin wahidatin. But for the case of the object, that is the object case, we can also express it as using the verb darabtu. We have darabtu hirran wahidan, I beat one cat, or in feminine form, darabtu hirratan wahidatan. So in the second case is if the number is 2 and the countable noun is also 2, or there are 2 objects, then they will both be added with an alif and a nun at the end of the word, while the nun takes kasra sound at the initial stage and could also be expressed as a gender for gender form. But when it is in preposition case, i.e., when it takes kasra, and the object form, i.e., when it takes fatha, then the alif in this case at the initial stage will then change to ya, while the letter before it then takes fatha. An example of this is when we have talibun, which will be added with an alif and nun to give us taliban. For the case of adding the number together, we have talibani isnani, talibani ithnani, 2 male students. In feminine form, when it is added with alif and nun, that is talibatun, which is feminine, added with alif and nun, that will give us talibatani, 2 female students, talibatani. Or when it is added with the number, so we then have talibatani ithnatani, 2 female students, talibatani ithnatani. Or for the case of preposition, ala talibaini ithnaini or fawqa talibaini ithnaini, on 2 male students, or ala talibaini or فوق طالبين. But when it is in feminine form, we also have على طالبتين or فوق طالبتين, on 2 female students. But when it is added with the number, so we then have على طالبتين اثنتين or فوق طالبتين اثنتين. But in the case of object, using the verb ضرب, in this case, which is ضربت, so we then have ضربت طالبين, or we say ضربت طالبين اثنين, I beat 2 male students. ضربت طالبين اثنين, I beat 2 male students. This above expression is done for countable noun that could be expressed in gender form, but not for the ones that could not. That is, not for the ones that could not be in gender form. For example, miftahun, a key, qalamun, a pen, etc. Or the ones that cannot be expressed in masculine gender. For example, akibatun, a bag. So akibatun could not be expressed in masculine gender. They are expressed based on the type of gender they are. So we express them the way they are. An example here is when we say qalamun wahidun, 1 pen. So it is wrong to say qalamatun wahidatun. So you cannot feminize that. Or when we have miftahun wahidun, for one to now say miftahatun wahidatun. So it is wrong. So they will be the way they are. So hakibatun wahidatun, but not hakibun wahidun. Okay? But when they appear in 2 objects, or when they appear in dual form, this type of nouns in counting will then be expressed as qalamani. Qalamun will be expressed as qalamani, 2 pen, or qalamani ithnani, 2 pen. Miftahani, 2 keys, or miftahani ithnani, 2 keys. Hakibatani, 2 bags, or hakibatani ithnatani, 2 bags. For the preposition or object case, the previous rule is also applicable to these above ones too. So when we are going to put it in prepositional case, when they are preceded by preposition, so we can then also say ala fawqa qalamaini, or ala qalamaini ithnaini. Or we say fawqa miftahaini, or ala miftahaini ithnaini. Same thing applies to the last example, which is fi hakibataini, or fi hakibataini ithnataini. So when the alif will also be changing to ya in this case. Also note that this is sufficient and complete without adding the numbers ranging from 1 to 2, when the counting is done from 1 to 2. So there will be no need to add the numbers. For instance, when we say hirrun, when we said previously hirratun wahidatun, we can simply say hirratun. It is sufficient that way. Or hirrun wahidun. It is sufficient to say hirrun. So it is sufficient to say qalamun without adding qalamun wahidun. If the number starts from 3 to 10 and the countable noun is also expressed in 3 up to 10 objects, then the rule is categorized into 2, which are 1. The numbers will be feminized with one doma at the end of the word, while the countable noun will be plural with the nonation of kestrotan at the end of the word. An example is, take the word waladun, a boy. The plural is expressed as awladun. Since in Arabic, pluralization of a word or an object begins from 3 upward, therefore we can then express it as from 3, thalathatun awladin, arba'atu awladin, khamsatu awladin, sittatun awladin, sab'atun awladin, thamaniyatun awladin, tis'atu awladin, asharatu awladin, which is up to 10 this way. But for preposition case, the number change to kestra at the end of word and the countable noun remains the same, while in the object case, the number takes fatha at the end of the word, and also the countable noun remain the same also. An example of this is by putting side by side for the preposition and object case, so which are the fatha case and the kesra case. So we can express that with the following examples. Darabtu thalasata awladin, which is the fatha case. For the kesra case, which is the preposition, we can then say ma using preposition ma, that which means with. Ma thalasati awladin. Darabtu arba'ata awladin. I beat 4 children. Ma arba'ati awladin, with 4 children. Darabtu khamsata awladin. I beat 5 children. Ma khamsati awladin, with 5 children. Darabtu sittata awladin. I beat 6 children. Ma sittati awladin, with 6 children. Darabtu sab'ata awladin. I beat 7 children. Ma sab'ati awladin, with 7 children. Darabtu thamaniyata awladin. I beat 8 children. Ma thamaniyati awladin, with 8 children. Darabtu tis'ata awladin. I beat 9 children. Ma tis'ati awladin, with 9 children. Darabtu asharata awladin. I beat 10 children. Ma asharati awladin, with 10 children. So this way, we understand better how counting is done in Arabic with number and countable noun from 1 to 2 or from 3 to 10. So this makes it easier for you on your own to go ahead and practice this and get to understand it better the way I have explained it in this video. So in the next stage of this video, we are going to come with different examples in order to make it more easier for you, while we also, inshallah, embed this in a sentence form so that you can also appreciate how counting is expressed in a sentence form. So without taking much of our time, we are going to stop the lesson here, and inshallah we are going to see in the next video. Bye and thanks.